What's up, fellow nerds? This is Not Your Status Quo's 2019 SDCC recap.
If you like what we do here, make sure you hit like on the video, make sure you subscribe, let all your friends know.
And ring the bell to be notified of future videos. We are going to focus on Marvel Studios' Hall H presentation on this video. So it's all going to be MCU. We will have a follow-up video after this where we talk about every other thing. But without further ado, Dave, can you get us started?
Well, Kevin Feige started out by announcing that Endgame is officially past Avatar as the #1 movie of all time. How'd you like Avatar?
I haven't seen it yet.
Him and like another person hasn't seen Avatar.
Well, I do have Dave's Blu-ray, so one of these days I will watch it. But so many other things I need to see. Now that it's not the #1 movie of all time, who cares?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, knock it off.
You know, I think it's cool. I think people make too much about this. People were like, I'm going to go see Endgame 30 times this weekend so it passes Avatar.
But
I love
why?
it. I know. I love Endgame. I thought it was great.
I think I saw it 3 times.
But,
I mean, I know Disney is really hurting for money, so we do need to support them. And
We gotta let
really
them
gotta
know they're
support
doing the
guys.
right thing. Yeah.
but I just don't. It doesn't make the movie any less good
No.
if it's not the #1 movie of all time. So I'm happy it is because I think it's great and I think what Marvel Studios built deserves it.
Yeah.
But
Bravo.
Yeah.
Did you guys know, fun fact, at one point, the Incredible Hulk movie was considered one of the #1 movies of all time? It made that much money in the box office. Look that up.
The Ed Norton
Yeah,
Hulk movie?
the Ed Norton.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Everybody else look that up. Comment at the bottom, please. All right?
Yeah.
All right, so what else did Kevin Feige say? He came out and he announced the whole, well, maybe not the entire Phase 4, but he announced a big portion of it, starting with the Eternals. It stars Angelina Jolie. Listed all the other actors there, but I didn't want to reference them because I didn't know them that well. Salma Hayek, of course.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
my girl.
And it's directed by Chloe Zhao. Is that how you say her name?
I think so.
She has, like we were talking about before, she has a lot of independent movies. This is her fourth movie that she's doing. And so they're giving her a shot, so let's see what happens. And that's coming out November 6th in 2020.
You know, and speaking, it's her 4th movie, but I think Feige has proven that he can pull in talent and make sure that they're, going to be good movies. I know some people would be like, oh my God, it's her 4th movie. Can she handle a blockbuster? I have no worries.
Neither do I know. I think it's going to come out, pretty good. Wasn't that what people were saying with Guardians of the Galaxy?
They were. I was one of them. I was not saying it. I was internally worried. But when it came out, it's my that's my favorite series in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things about this cast, there is the first deaf actress playing a role in an MC movie, and her character is also deaf. So that's like a first time. Feige had talked about more inclusion, and that's one of the things that is included in this is first deaf actress. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
The second announcement they made was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier with Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, of course. But the best part of this is who the villain's going to be.
Who?
Daniel Bruhl is going to be playing
Zemo.
Excellent.
And that's on Disney Plus in fall of next year.
Oh yeah, we should specify which are going to be actual theatrical releases and which are going to be Disney Plus series.
Got it covered.
Awesome.
And I think a lot of we've heard a little bit about this series. Some of it is going to be Sam Wilson accepting the mantle of Captain America, and according to Anthony Mackie, he has tried on the Captain America suit.
Oh
Yeah.
Because the rumor was he was going to guest star or have a cameo in Spider-Man: Far From Home, so he's tried it on. I cannot wait to see it. I love Sam Wilson as Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
He's flying. He's got the shield. He's got everything. But I think another part of what this is going to be, and I hope since Zemo is in it, I'm hoping it's him recruiting the Thunderbolts. I hope he's at odds with the Avengers, trying to destroy them, even though the main ones he's against are gone now. But it's still him trying to destroy them. And maybe part of that is he did not disappear with the snap. So he had 5 years to plan all of this out.
His criminal empire.
Because remember, part of what he did in Civil War was all planning. As soon as those SHIELD documents were released, he started studying them, and he learned about the Winter Soldier and formulated this plan. So, he has had, if he wasn't snapped away, he's had time to plan and know what he's doing. And I think forming the Thunderbolts to be like a super team outside of the Avengers to compete with them and then eventually destroy them would be so great.
Absolutely, I'd love to see that.
Okay, and the third event, I don't know, that Feige mentioned was Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to this. I've been waiting ever since they were first referenced in the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah, I mean, the Mandarin finally showing up is way past its time. I mean, we all thought we were getting him in Iron Man 3 way back in Phase 2, and as great a part as Ben Kingsley played at first, that I can't get past it. I know it's the fanboy in me, but I can't get past it. I can't watch or like Iron Man 3 because of that. But we do know,
thanks to Thor,
the one shot that happened after that, All Hail the King.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the real Mandarin was out there. Will Ben Kingsley, who was taken at the end of that, show up in Shang-Chi as the false Mandarin? He's probably in a cage being tortured maybe by the real one.
Or he could be, like at the end of the Hail to the King, or when they pulled him out, maybe he could just be, make a little cameo in there and say, like, this is what we do to people who,
Yeah, use my name in vain.
Yeah.
You'll end up like Trevor Slattery.
What's a real shame is the fact that he played the role in the beginning of Iron Man 3, that he played the role of the Mandarin so well. I mean, I was really drawn into it, and I feel like it's going to be tough for Marvel to top that at this point.
No, you're
because as much as I appreciate a good twist, I didn't really like that one.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. I thought he was knocking it out of the park until they did the switcheroo.
Every time they had him on TV and he was announcing his grand plan, and it was like, whoa, this is good.
Yeah.
They picked a good actor and then...
Yeah, I don't know why they went
even
that
on
way.
The trailer when you hear his voiceover,
Yes.
I was just so fired up for that movie.
Oh, spoilers for Iron Man 3.
Just in case you haven't seen it. And you didn't follow our road to the Infinity War.
And if not, why? What have you been doing?
Where have you been?
Yeah, if you haven't seen it and you haven't seen the rest of the MCU, maybe go watch it. 23 films at this point. Get caught up. Come back.
And then we'll talk. And the director for this movie is Daniel Cretton. Mm-hmm. He also has a very limited selection of movies that he has directed, most of them being like smaller films. So, like we were saying earlier, hopefully Kevin Feige, he's been good so far at picking the directors and knowing which way to go. I don't think, he's 20, in my book, he's 21 out of 23. So, his odds are with him.
No, and I think this is an opportunity for a lot of these smaller sort of indie directors to get their big payday. And I think that might be how Feige lures them. Hey, you make great films. We love your films. You do a great job. How would you like a good payday? We want you to do this for us, and then you can go back to doing your stuff, because they deserve, to maybe live a little better life. And especially if this is their way to do it. A lot of actors do that.
That's what Robert Downey Jr. used to say.
Their real passion is these indie films where they can really do it. And then they do the Marvel movies and other big-time action movies to, to make some money to live. So.
And the date on that, I got February, you said February 12th?
February 12th,
2021. All right. Number 4, Wanda Vision. Of course, with our favorite actors playing their parts. And I see that, I don't know, I wrote it down because I don't know how to pronounce it. Tiona?
We are going to butcher names.
Tiona Paris is going to be playing Monica Rambeau, the young girl we saw in Captain Marvel.
And for those of you that don't know, Monica Rambeau is Spectrum in the comics. She develops where she can pretty much turn into any form of energy. Called Captain Marvel for a while, Photon. Her mom's flight name was Photon in Captain Marvel, which I thought was a nice nod. And I'm really hoping that she either gets her powers in WandaVision or already has them by the time it starts.
And like Doug was trying to say earlier, I just wanted to say this before you. This will be a TV show. This is not a movie. This is going to Disney Plus, and it's going in the spring of 2021. Sorry, go ahead.
So do you guys think this is going to take place after the events of Endgame or before?
They confirmed that it takes place after Endgame.
So somehow they're going to have to either rebuild Vision or something's going to have to happen.
Well, this does lead directly into Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness.
Yeah, I was going to cover this when we got to it, but we can't. We can cover it now.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoilers for this video. Foreshadowing, if you will.
So
Yes.
very likely she somehow, because her chaos powers can do a lot of things, and maybe she brings in a vision from another Earth, another dimension,
Yeah.
and somehow that opens it up, and leads directly into our next movie.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Nice. So, multiverse?
Yeah, that word scares me too. But, if that's the way they get the Vision back, and I can almost accept it with Doctor Strange because they've already kind of done it in the first movie. Where's Dormammu now?
Mm-hmm.
They're in different dimensions, and he's Mr. Cosmic. He's going to be the king of all these dimensions. I mean, he's the best of all of us, as she said in Endgame.
Yes. So what I think about that is, I believe the introduction of the multiverse, which I thought it was coming in Spider-Man Homecoming, but, didn't quite. But
Spoilers!
yeah, whoops, spoilers. So I think the introduction of a multiverse is definitely going to open the door for a lot of possibilities, a lot of other villains coming back. We could see a return of Ultron.
We could.
I think we will at some point, and I don't even think we needed the multiverse to do that. I think eventually they could have brought him back, and some weren't. But this would
And they may
expedite
not
the
use the
process.
multiverse to bring him back. Ultron could have stored his thing in something, and as soon as it comes online, he can do it.
Exactly.
But the thing too about this also is Elizabeth Olsen
Olsen.
is
No
playing the
voices.
Scarlet Witch in this movie, and come on, this title is freaking an amazing title. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
That does sound cool.
It sounds like a comic book.
Yeah.
It does, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also I don't know if this was confirmed last night. Some people said it was, but that Nightmare will be the villain. So it won't be Dormammu again. It will be Nightmare.
Okay.
And I didn't have that in my notes, so that could be true. I don't know.
Very cool.
The date on this, we got summer 2021. Do we have a
May
date?
7th, 2021.
May 7th. So
7th,
it's their
alright.
big movie that year.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. We did a little skipping over there. We overstepped Loki, which I have read. Obviously it's Tom Hiddleston, and it's going to be when is this?
Spring of 2021.
Spring of 2021. It's going to take place from the moment in Endgame where he grabbed the Tesseract and disappeared. That's where it takes place, and I think that's awesome because there's a lot of character development that
this is definitely
he
gonna
went
be-
through that didn't happen. To
Right.
him.
I was just about to say, so this is going to be chaotic. I'm still a bad guy kind of Loki.
Yeah.
And it's right around the time of Wanda Vision and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So it's going to tie all in. I think it's going to, all three of those, well, I think Wanda Vision is going to start, Doctor Strange is going to continue, and it's going to build that precedent for the multiverse. And Loki's going to be jumping in and out of times and possibly dimensions and doing, I'm hoping, because one of the greatest things about Loki has always been his scheming.
Absolutely.
And how he always has, plans on plans on plans, a lot like Nick Fury. If it's him building this plan out, and then he's, coming back to maybe fight the Avengers or doing something, and it's all, you see him building up to this plan and see it play out in a movie down the road.
One thing that I'd really like to see him do is something that he pulled off in the comics quite a few times, is where he would switch two of the Avengers into different bodies. And or there's even a couple of times where he would switch places with one of the other Avengers in order to gain secrets or something like that. I'd love to see him do that, where maybe he switches places with Peter Parker or someone else and ends up getting his foot in the door with the Avengers and causing all sorts of trouble.
I'm down. That would be great.
God of Mischief.
Absolutely.
All right, number 7 we got is What If. This is
What
a this is an animated series in which most of the MCU cast is going to reprise their roles in voice form. And this has Disney Plus, and it's summer 2021. And we were talking, it's Jeffrey Wright, and I don't know if you've seen him in other things, but he's a good actor. I enjoy his work, and he's going to be the Watcher.
I know absolutely
Basically
nothing about What If, so
Well, What If is they talk about, like, for the first episode of this series, it's what if Sharon Carter had become Captain America.
okay.
And Haley Atwell is voicing the character. So it's sort of, divergent timelines.
I see.
What if some of the ones from the comics were what if Spider-Man had joined the Fantastic Four? What if the Avengers defeated everybody? There's been a ton
Is this
of
where
them.
Deadpool defeats kills the entire Marvel universe came from?
That wasn't a what if.
Separate.
It was separate. Yeah.
Mm.
Number 8 was the Hawkeye series with Jeremy Renner. That's coming in the fall of 2021. This will be the origin story of Kate Bishop on Disney Plus, and this is not a movie either. I think I gave the date already.
So one thing I just want to mention, we'll put up the logo somewhere around here. Take a good look at this. I don't know if it's just me, but for whatever reason, just the choice. Now, I understand this is pulled directly from the comic book pages.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that. But for whatever reason, the font choice, the lowercase lettering, it just looks like a rom-com cover. That was the first thought in my mind.
He's just not that into Hawkeye.
Just not that into Hawkeye, guys. I'm sorry.
Well,
but he is going to shoot his arrow of love into my heart when I watch.
And I don't want to be there for that.
we will be watching it as separate residents.
Yeah.
But this is going to introduce Kate Bishop into the MCU, who kind of is Hawkeye in the comics. But not only that, she's a young Avenger, and there's been rumors that Marvel was kind of working towards building the Young Avengers. So we've had Stature in Ant-Man. Cassie Lang, Scott Lang's daughter, is Stature in the Young Avengers. Kate Bishop now has been confirmed to be coming.
Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau is not a Young Avenger.
Oh, well, she's a youngin'.
Well, not so much now because she was young in the 90s.
She can be a Young Avenger now.
She's a little too old to be a Young Avenger.
This is MCU, man. They can do whatever they want.
That's true.
Time travel's a thing.
But we could also see Speed and Wiccan show up in Wanda Vision, because that was the Vision and Scarlet Witch's kids from the comics. So we're kind of getting all of these possibilities of Young Avengers coming into the MCU with two of them confirmed, Stature and Cassie Lang. So are we going to get a Miss Marvel announcement coming up? Maybe a D23? We know Disney has their huge event coming up next month. Yep. I'm sure Marvel's going to have some, they're holding back some stuff.
Oh, definitely.
They completely won Comic-Con with this Comic-Con was great. It's always great.
So they have the #1 movie of all time. They completely took over Comic-Con. What else can they do?
Well, they can do Thor.
Thor. I'm so looking forward to that.
Now, here's the thing. I got a question after I announce this movie.
Okay.
Not like Kevin Feige called me and I said I could announce it. So, Thor, Love and Thunder, and that's November 5th?
November 5th, yep.
Of 2021. Of course, Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson, and Natalie Portman, who will become the female Thor. They've already announced that.
It's not the female Thor. It's just
the
Jane
Thor
or Thor.
Yeah. My question is Thor going to take on a completely different role as he will be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3? And he's obviously going to be in Thor. Is he going to completely have a different role within this Phase 4?
Maybe it could be that maybe he'll take over for his father. I don't know.
He doesn't want to.
I mean, the one thing I think there can be two Thors at one time.
Okay.
Thor, Chris Hemsworth Thor, Odin's son, he can be wielding Stormbreaker.
True.
Where Jane Thor could be wielding Mjolnir. And somehow we're going to get Mjolnir back. So there can be two. I don't think he's going to change it all.
He's not going to be the God of Thunder that we know, is what I'm saying. He's going to be traveling. He's more like a freelance kind of guy now, because he's going off with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
He left with them. We don't know that he's actually traveling with them long term. They could be dropping him off.
The question I'm
maybe
asking,
he's looking for a new planet.
I'm saying
for
this
Asgard.
This could be what happens.
No.
Opening the door.
No,
if anybody
absolutely.
has any thoughts, post them.
I am curious about something. And they haven't really touched on this too much in the MCU, but in the comics, it was almost implied that when Thor didn't have his hammer, he was literally just a regular person, a human being. And it wasn't until he was holding
Mjolnir.
Mew Mew.
Don't bring that up.
that he would transform into Thor. Now, they haven't done that so much. He lost his powers in the original Thor movie, but he was still Thor. But they haven't done this whole where he had a civilian secret identity so much.
He lost Dr. Blake a while ago in the comics, and even when he wasn't holding it, he was still Thor.
Okay, all right. So I wasn't sure if they were going to try and do that or what the plan was.
No, I think that would be kind of like taking his story backwards.
Yeah, I agree.
He's already established himself.
That's why I'm almost concerned about them bringing Jane back. I'm hoping that they don't dive back into sort of dark elf territory or some other.
No, I don't think they will.
Okay.
I could see, kind of what Dave was talking about earlier, where Thor is out maybe traveling more the cosmic route, doing things, maybe, running into Beta Ray Bill, hopefully. While Jane is more sort of the earthbound with the Avengers. I think Thor, Chris Hemsworth Thor, is going to be maybe with the Guardians, maybe by himself, just out. And Jane Thor is going to be the one on Earth, working with the Avengers, because, they need some heavy hitters.
Okay.
You got Captain Marvel right now, but, you could use Jane Thor too.
But as she said in Endgame, she can't always be on Earth.
No,
she's got an entire galaxy to police.
And that, just speaking for myself, all like characters and plot aside, I'm a big fan of Natalie Portman, so I'm glad to see her back.
And she was holding Mjolnir on stage at SDCC last night.
She was.
And I got a picture of it. Kind of grainy.
Excellent.
We'll try to work it in here, but it was pretty exciting.
Okay. And of course, the next thing that they mentioned was the first thing that's coming out May 1st. Is I think May 1st next year. Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson, Rachel Weisz, and then there's like a host of other characters that I didn't know all their works. But David Harbour from Stranger Things,
and Hellboy,
will be in this movie, and it's set 15 years after the fall of the USSR, or the I don't know if you call it the fall, but when they stopped being the USSR,
the Soviet Union, yeah.
So that's where they're starting the story, and we all know she's gonna make it through the movie, but we don't know how far she goes.
Expect to see Hawkeye in this?
I haven't heard.
Well, there's also a few things they said last night. One, a lot of it's going to take place after Civil War in the MCU. We are going to find out what went down in Budapest.
Oh, good, finally.
So there's going to be some time jumping?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some time jumping. There's going to be time back when she was
becoming
the Black Widow. And they also, Florence Pugh is going to be playing Yelena, another Black Widow, and they showed footage last night. And I kind of read what they show. They talk about, it's like her voicing over a little bit at the beginning, and she's saying, I kind of betrayed Tony when I took down the Black Panther and let Cap and Winter Soldier go. And then there's a big fight scene between Florence Pugh and Natasha Romanoff. I'm using one actor's name and one character's name, so I'm confusing everybody.
We get it, man. We follow it.
But then, because the main villain, for those of you who have read this, is Taskmaster. Taskmaster is a guy who has photographic reflexes, and anything he sees, he can then imitate. And he has a shield, and he has a bow and arrow. He looks like kind of a bunch of Avengers get smushed together a little bit.
And he wears a cape.
Yeah, and he wears a cape.
Of course.
No capes.
And I guess at the end of this footage, you see him. She's shooting at him, and he's blocking him with the shield. And then while they're fighting, it looks like he's mimicking her moves.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
I was praying this would get leaked, or released by Marvel Studios last night, but it never did. But hopefully we'll get some footage soon. It's coming 6-7 months from now.
And we know that this is an origin story. I mean, I guess not complete origin story, because it does some jumping around, as you said then. But I was hoping, like when I heard Taskmaster was in it, I was hoping it would be like an origin story for the villain, and he could be in a lot more.
I would
MCU
kind of
movies.
like to see that. He's been a villain for Spider-Man in the comics.
He's been a Deadpool villain.
Yeah, he definitely has been. I remember reading a Deadpool comic where Deadpool didn't realize that he was actually teaching Taskmaster all of his moves, and of course, in his true fashion, he just starts cutting limbs off.
And I think one of the things cool about this movie is this is going to take place after Civil War. So we may see some footage of Cap and his Avengers on the run and what happened before Infinity War happened.
Now that would be interesting to see.
Kind of like what they did with Jessica Jones. Just another point of view. Like Hellcat had her own show with her own point of view in the exact same events. That would be awesome.
And I guess during the panel last night, David Harbour, his role is going to be Alexei. We don't know much more about it. I was trying to look through the comics to see if there was any Alexei that made sense. I couldn't figure anything out. If you guys have any thoughts, please let us know. But one of the things he said is he has a very difficult relationship with Captain America. So it sounds like he's kind of at odds. He respects him possibly, but he's at complete odds with them. So it's going to be very interesting to see how all this weaves together.
I read something called Red Soldier. That would be why he would be at odds, I would think.
So you think he's a super soldier for the Soviet Union?
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there from things I've heard. All right.
Discuss amongst yourselves.
Well, you can always add a comment at the bottom of the video, and we can make future videos off of those comments. So feel free.
Or answer your questions, comments in a future video.
Yeah, tell us what you'd like to see.
If we end up knowing something, which we rarely do.
We make very educated guesses.
And let's see. The last thing he announced. Oh, well, there's a couple of things that we can clump all together at the end, but
kind of the big one.
This is the big one. Blade, with in that. Excuse me if I can't say his name right. Mahershala, Marshala. Say it.
Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali, being Blade. I think that's that fits.
I think he's going to do great. The guy's a 2-time Oscar winner. And the story was, once again, we were not there, but the story was that they talked to Feige about it because it didn't have a date for it. It looked like they just kind of at the last minute added this. And he said, well, when he calls you, you answer the phone. And supposedly he called Kevin Feige and said, I want to make a Blade movie. And he had thoughts on where it should go and how it should be. And they said, sounds great. And they're going to make it. And, I don't know, I feel bad for Wesley Snipes. His Blade movies, I really enjoyed them. They were really kind of the starting of superhero movies, good superhero movies.
They were good.
And he did great, and they were really good. And I'm looking forward to see, the MCU's take on it and where this is going to take the MCU on another branch, because it's all about the undead. Mm-hmm. It's about he's a daywalker, and that doesn't mean he has red hair and he, is a ginger. He's, half vampire.
His skin doesn't sparkle?
No, that's for DC.
Oh.
It may. We don't know. They may make some changes. You never know here. But I thought it was a great announcement. I know people had been clamoring for it. Everyone thought it was going to be a Netflix show for a long time, which sadly we found out last night that the Netflix shows are not canon. So the things we saw on Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Defenders are not canon to the MCU.
So everything we were speculating about maybe Charlie Cox coming into the MCU is not going to happen.
Well, he still could. I mean, the Sam Raimi films aren't canon for the MCU, but J.K. Simmons showed up in Spider-Man: Far From Home.
When they open the multiverse, I guess it makes everything possible.
And I thought about this, and it does make sense, because if they bring these characters into the MCU, those Netflix shows were way too violent to be portrayed in the MCU, and I think that's why Feige may be doing it, because I think they need. I want to see Daredevil. Daredevil's a great character.
Absolutely. And we were talking about this before, that Vincent D'Onofrio, excellent Kingpin. We need to see him in the MCU, definitely.
I can't see anyone else as Jessica Jones.
No, absolutely not.
No. Kristen Ritter.
And I'm sure if they ever do announce they're going to have a Kingpin in a movie, I can see Vincent D'Onofrio walking right into Kevin Feige's office and saying, "When I was a boy," and they'll sign him right there. So
just give him his own movie.
Oh, that would be great! A Kingpin movie.
Oh, that would be.
They've
great.
not had a villain
because
led movie in the MCU.
He intersects with so many of the heroes throughout the MCU. It'd be great to see that.
I'm down, Dave. I think you're onto something.
I was going to mention something, but that's a DC thing, so I won't.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's the other stuff that he sprinkled in at the end. Of course, we're going to get a Black Panther 2. Of course, we're going to get, Captain Marvel 2. He announced the Fantastic Four. He didn't mention Guardians 3. But we know what's happening.
He confirmed Guardians 3. He did, yeah.
He said it? Okay. I didn't get that memo.
But
we knew it was happening.
The one thing he did say, too, which Dave didn't allude to, he said the mutants are coming.
The mutants?
He did not
refer to X-Men?
He didn't refer to them as the X-Men, which he has went on record as saying he does not like the term X-Men because, he wants to call it X Factor or maybe something else. But he did say the mutants are coming.
So does that mean that they are, in fact, going to use the word mutant in the MCU now?
Absolutely.
Because that word has not come up so far.
Not metahuman.
Well, metahuman has always been, I think, like a DC term.
Yes.
Yeah, but they haven't had a term for what these people are that have genetic abilities or have powers like Wanda.
And we may even see the groundwork may be laid for the mutants in Eternals because the Celestials sent the Eternals to kind of combat the deviants, and they kind of the Eternals laid the groundwork for mutation in the human gene, which brought about the mutants. and all that stuff. And we'll get into that in another video talking about the Eternals. But I think Kevin Feige already has it laid down how he's going to bring him in and plant little seeds. You know, he confirmed a Fantastic Four movie. We don't know when that's coming, but we're probably...
fourth time's the charm.
Let's hope so.
Is it the fourth time?
Well, let's see. Didn't they have 2 originally? Then they had the... this would be the 4th one.
Oh, 4th overall movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant 4th reboot.
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean...
It is a 3rd reboot, though.
Actually, it would be the 4th reboot if you count that one that never made it to
Robert Corman or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
if you can find that on YouTube.
The one they made in order to actually keep the name under license or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I think there was so much they could have done there had Chris Evans stayed in the MCU. Like, he, flame on. Just walk by the guy and just, like, give him a weird look or something, something. And there was another crossover.
That's a terrible line. Yeah, that would be hilarious. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think? You think we're right on our predictions? We're telling you what the movies are. If you have anything to add, throw it at the bottom. If not, we got a surprise for you. We got part 2 of our San Diego Comic-Con videos coming up. Oh, now.